What's up, guys? It's your girl Matt Cox from A Couture Crafting. I am your quilty BFF, and today I am walking you through how I made this right here. This is called the Side Hustle. It is by ByAnnie. The moment that I saw it, she just debuted it, I think in Houston in November. The moment I saw it, I was like, I think I should make that. My favorite make of ByAnnie right now is still, I think, the Payday. But it's a lot of work that goes into the Payday, and I wear the Payday around my waist. This supposedly can be worn around your waist too, but I do not like the shape of a fanny pack, and this kind of mimics a fanny pack to some degree, sort of. But she wears it across her body, and I thought, I wonder if that's going to work for me. If you've never met Annie from ByAnnie, she is very petite. She's shorter than I am. I'm not tall. People always see me in person and like, ooh, I thought you were taller. I'm not. I'm not tall. I'm 5'3". She's probably 5 feet, if that. And she's very, very petite. And I wondered, would this work for me? I am full figured. I am busty. I am all the things. And I didn't have to really alter this at all for me. The size works great. It still fits under my coats, which is perfect. We'll talk about the way that this comes together in just a moment, but the pocket, this pocket up here is the deepest pocket on the front, and it will hold my very large cell phone. I have a very, very big cell phone. Plop it right in. It will hold it. I am a wallet, keys, phone gal. That is my preference. I mean, back in the day, I used to love to carry a clutch, and now I'm just over it. I want my hands free. I just want to grab these things and usually throw them in a pocket. This is perfect for that. This is perfect. My mother loved it. Everybody's loved it who has seen it so far. They're like, it's perfect for just running to the mall, going to a convention, that kind of thing, where you want your hands to be free. Maybe you're shopping an outdoor market or something along those lines. It's really cool, and it didn't take me long to make. This is one of those projects that I might consider making for someone else. It wasn't too difficult after getting through it the first time. I know that ByAnnie patterns are difficult to read through. They're usually a lot of words, and you can't just do it by looking at the pictures and the video sometimes. Annie doesn't care. I bother her all the time. I'm like, do a full video. She says that she's keeping the quilting community literate. You need to know how to read a pattern. She's not trying to do anything different, but she keeps me in business doing it the way that she does. And apparently she likes what I do, because she gave me this pattern. She gave it to me. She was like, you know, do your thing. Okay, I gotcha. Say less. So I did it. Something that I was just floored by was this. This is actually metal. It's not one of those plasticky ones. It's not covered in metal. It's actual metal. And it opens and closes so easily. This was a new development that they debuted in Houston, and it is the it's the side buckle with the release. This is brand new, and I had to have it. I had to try it. I had to play with it. It works so well. Again, it's all metal, and it's very, very easy to open and close. So I chose that method of strap. I thought I was going to need to hack this strap. I was really concerned that this was going to just be flying loose, but she already took care of that with the slider buckle. You don't need to hack this. You can just make it just as she says. For this strap, she has a certain dimension. I just went ahead and used an entire width of fabric. Even if I had done the dimensions that she suggested, it still would have fit over me. I've got quite a bit of room to play with. However, I just used the full strip, and I had some extra strapping, so that was fine. What I didn't understand is when I made this, they did not have the bird's eye view done. What that means is there's like a schematic that tells you so that you can really customize your project. A schematic that'll tell you this right here, this pocket A, which is literally pocket A, goes right here. So make your fabric whatever color you want to goes right here. So when I was choosing my fabrics, I wanted these two switched badly. I mean, you know, it all worked out. I probably would have lost the Grinchmas if I had done it the way that I wanted to do it. But initially, I thought that this pocket was going to be right here. The way this comes together is wild. It did not come together the way that I thought it would. So I ended up having these two fabrics here that don't exactly line up, and that drives me slightly crazy. But we're okay. We're over it. Not really. And then there's this strip over here. So initially I wanted these two to be switched. Just be careful, because I don't know that they will have the bird's eye view video done when you make your project. So really pay attention to which pocket is what when you're cutting it, if you want to customize it. A lot of their samples are just plain, and so not plain, they use the same fabric through the entire thing, so you don't have to worry about that. But because I like to get funky with it, and I want to change all the zipper colors and all that kind of stuff because I'm me, yeah, there's that. Also, I did something fun, and I used a panel on the back. You guys see that? Panel. I made it so that he was kind of at an angle, which is me truly fussy cutting. I love the way it came out. I was able to get most of the Grinch word the way that I fussy cut that. It just tickles me. This is a great project. Again, after making it, let me be honest, I don't enjoy making bags. I am not a bag maker. I can make bags. You guys have seen me make some delicious bags. Very, very large bags, some big projects. I've tackled them mostly for you, and because Tula Pink will not just give me the bags that I want that she makes. So therefore we have to make them ourselves. This is one that I would consider, again, doing it again and doing it for others. I wouldn't mind making this. Again, this is called Side Hustle. It's a pretty easy make. Once you see me make it, you'll be like, oh, I can do that. It's got good space. We've got Grinch fabric in here too. I quilted this a little different. I outlined this guy since he was already drawn out for me. I made sure not to quilt in here. And then I did some fun quilting. I used 12 weight thread, which is something that I do on a lot of ByAnnie projects. I love to show off a quilting design, usually a straight line quilting design with a 12 weight thread. This one is even more special. This is a shiny 12 weight thread. It is called Glamour by Wonderfill. Wonderfill does all of my specialty threads. If I'm using just a regular 50 weight, it's connecting threads. All of my specialty threads are Wonderfill, except for my variegateds, which I didn't use in here, so no sense in telling you about that. But it's got a stream of tinsel in it, so it just shines. And then I tried to get really funky with it, and I went ahead and threw some rhinestones on there, which I don't always do. I know people freak out about rhinestones. I usually freak out about rhinestones. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But it just needed it, you know? I hot fixed mine so that I would be able to use it very, very quickly. I've never had a problem with these coming off. People ask all the time, well, are those going to come off in the wash? I haven't had that, and I have done some serious wash tests. I did them online so you can see them. I don't have an issue with hot fix. These are not Swarovskis. These are like the glass cheapy ones that you get from Amazon. They still shine, they still sparkle. It's still a vibe. And I throw them on there, and I think it goes so well with the holiday goodness. They're on the back too in certain little places. I am ready for the holidays. Again, if you are full figured and you are wondering if this will fit for you and you're around my size, I think it will work. Again, it goes under the jacket. Something else that she talks about is this is pretty much made for a right-handed person. And what she means is that the zippers, I grab this and I pull down with my right hand, and then here I use my left hand. If you're left-handed, you just mirror it. She tells you to make one right-handed first and then do your left-handed one. Who's doing that? Who's doing that, Annie? I know who's not. So if you follow my directions, at one point I talk about where you would mirror. I think you can figure it out without making. I feel like you can do it just by seeing me actually kind of go through the bag. I don't show you me sewing the bag. That was just doing too much. The video's already long, but I think I walk you through enough and I point at enough things for you to understand how this bag comes together. I hope y'all love this bag as much as I do. I'm excited about it. It's a cutie patootie. Again, it is called Side Hustle. It is by ByAnnie. Check out your local quilt stores for the pattern. And yeah, I hope y'all love this as much as I do. Bye-bye. Well, another project. We went to M&L and we bought this fabric. We are doing a Grinch Side Hustle bag, which is kind of like a fanny pack that doesn't go on your fanny, but it could kind of go on your fanny. I don't know. we're going to try it. I saw the pattern. It's a new pattern that was released by ByAnnie, and I wanted to see what would happen if I did it. So because it's the holiday season, I decided to do it in holiday fabrics just to kind of do, you know, what I want, I guess. The first thing that I did was cut out all the pieces. I've been kind of going back and forth with what kind of strap I wanted to use. So I figured it out. Now I just have to remember where I put all the hardware and stuff for that, but no worries. I'm going to go with the option of the side buckle, but I think I'm going to hack it because I don't like a loose buckle, but I'm not sure if it can be made in a different way. I think it can. I'm probably going to hack that part, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, we just cut out all the pieces, and right now I'm in the process of sandwiching, and then I will quilt this. For the back of the bag, I wanted to do something different. I grabbed a panel and I cut the head out of the panel, and I fussy cut it so that you could see the word Grinch, and he came off at an angle, which is what I wanted. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see once I, you know, start shaping this and all that. So first things first, sandwich your pieces and then quilt them as desired. You can take these to your long armor, which is really my preferred way to do this, but I don't have that option this time, so I've got to do it myself. I cut the fabric, then I actually spray it with temporary adhesive on both sides of the Soft and Stable, and then I lay the fabric on there just so that it's not moving all around. Soft and Stable does a pretty good job of holding it, but, you know, this just makes it easier for me to quilt. And quilting these pieces is perfect. I love quilting a small piece. Because I wanted to fussy cut or kind of give the bag some personality, some of my personality, instead of cutting one large piece, quilting it, and then cutting the pockets from that piece, they would be the same color. I decided to do two smaller pieces, which I always do. I often do. And I added about an inch to the measurement of the finished pocket. So the finished quilted pocket, I added 1 inch. I cut them out. And then I cut my fabric, and I'm getting ready to mark it and quilt it. But these are a couple of smaller pieces. So if you're going to do that and try to get funky with it, you might want to do like I'm doing and cut separate pieces for the pockets. Just add 1 inch to the final dimensions of what you need after it's quilted. Usually when I'm quilting, I mark on the front because that's the important part. But for this, I really don't care where this lands. I'm almost just tempted to quilt this in black and white. I mean, not in black and white. Well, actually, that is an option. I have a black and white variegated that I am a fan of. But I was tempted to do it in just red. I'm really not tripping about the quilting. I just want it done. I'm going to throw some diamonds on here. Nothing major, probably an inch, maybe even 1.5 inches apart. I'm just not overly concerned about the quilting. I just want it done. This looks so good. This is so Grinchy. Oh, I'm loving it. Here is Dementor's Kiss, which is this variegated black and white. And the reason why I'm thinking about flipping it over and just quilting on the back and letting whatever happen on the front is because I'm always using such contrasting fabrics. I'm always using a black and white. And when you're marking it, I have to use 2 different pens to do that. And on the back here, I could just use 1 and call it a day, which would mean that this would need to go in the bobbin, not the top. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just whatever at this point. I might do red, a red thread on this side and that on the bottom. Who cares? We're just going to get it done. Yep, I decided that I'm marking on the back, and I'm feeling 1 inchy for this. I said I wanted it done fast, but it'll still go pretty fast, but we're going to go 1 inchy. And it looks like since I went diagonal to diagonal on a square, we're at a 45. Sometimes I do 60. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. So this is going to take me a little longer than I anticipated. And of course, I could just put my my quilting bar down, but my preference is to friction pen usually. You know, that bar that you can use to keep your space distance away. consistent. I could use that, but I never do. And some people can use a hair marker, which is great for them, but for whatever reason, I can't see it. So there's that for me. So I'm just going to mark all these really quickly and continue watching Twilight because it's fall and that's what we do. Now, everything is a learning experience. So I decided to do sparkly. I hope you can see that. I hope it's catching it. This is Wonderfill thread. It's called Glamour, and it has one strand of woven sparkly tinsel through it, and it gives it a shine. And since we are going to bling this out, I think it goes really well with what I'm trying to do. It's just a lot happening here. I marked the back. So I ended up doing bobbin work, and that's when you put the cool thread in the bobbin and let the bobbin do what it's supposed to do. So this thread, this beautiful thread, was actually put in my bobbin, not in the top. I put regular old 50 weight in the top and got to quilting. But just remember that I wasn't able to see the top, although this came out beautifully, actually better than the underside, which is fine. I did some different types of quilting on all of them. The front of this bag is going to be busy as all get up because I am putting this and this with each other. So it's going to be busy. We'll be okay with that. Here is the smaller pocket. So it should look like this. That's going to be the back. That's going to be the small pocket. This is going to be the large pocket. Now for the back, I really had a good time doing this quilting. I went ahead and stitched in the outline of this beautiful Grinch, this Dr. Seuss Grinch. And he is just this trapunto because, you know, soft and stable. It just looks great. I didn't want anything to go through him, so I got rid of all my markings. I used a friction pen. Be careful when you use a friction pen. It will bleach sometimes. And it bleached my fabric there, so I don't love that. I should have just went ahead and quilted through it because you can certainly see that line. We'll see if I can do some stuff to kind of make that go away. I don't know. And I got some bleaching down here too. But I didn't want the lines to go through the Grinch, so I quilted around the Grinch. And then I did these lines of quilting just to give it some quilting. And I didn't want the words to go through, I didn't want the lines to go through the word Grinch. But I love this. This is going to be such a cute bag. This is going to be the most couture bag ever. I wish that I had an M8 with a stitch regulator because it would have been a whole lot easier to free motion this as opposed to actually stitching around it and doing all that shuffling and turning. But you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. We are on step 3. I'm going to cut these all down to size and then just seal the edges. So let's do that. I'm going to talk you through how I do this. So after it's quilted, this is a buffalo plaid, and I really do want this to be straight. So I'm going to kind of look at it, and I'm not too concerned about where this is falling exactly. I know that I have more than enough to do what I need to do. So we're going to go over a bit. And I'm just looking at these lines, making sure they're straight so that when I take this cut, it is going to be parallel to the buffalo plaid. Where I'm cutting these is cracking me up because it's so frightening, like the little pieces that I'm getting. These little eyes just keep peeping out at me everywhere. Okay, I sometimes skip a step that I should never skip. I need to get over that. Sealing the edges. You're going to go around all of these with about 1/8. You are sealing them. It's important. Don't skip that step. I skip it all the time, and then that's why I end up having to take stuff out, and I've had holes and fabric flip back. Just seal it. I have an HD9, which is a straight stitch machine. It takes me all of 10 seconds, and I need to stop doing that. So seal your edges on all your pieces after you cut them out. At some point in my quilty life, I went zipper crazy for ByAnnie zippers, and I'm happy that I did. because what I really should be doing is using this light blue now that I see it, but I'm not. But I'm going to use the light blue zippers on this yellow because God forbid I just use the right color with it. I actually like the darker blue with it. There's a darker blue and a light blue. Maybe I'll use 3. Maybe I'll use that one and then do a red one. I'm so happy that I have this though. I could use all of those colors, but then we could use the red one on the big one. Yeah, that feels right. Okay. So happy about this. So all the pieces have been cut and sealed, and now the zippers have been pulled, and now we are going to set up the zippers. I am not the best zipper. And this one has these 2 stops right here, and I'm usually used to using them without the stops, and even though I probably won't need them, I've now prepared my zippers. All I did was get them on the zipper tape. Now, it says that you can do everything you need to do with a 30-inch zipper slide, but if you do the math with what they tell you to cut, that math does not work out. So I'm just gonna hope and pray that these zippers will do what I need them to do, even though I know they are shorter than they're supposed to be. I know they're shorter, but I think, oh, we got action. We'll be able to do it. At least it says we will. If not, you guys saw those zippers I had, but yeah, it says that you should be able to do it with what you have. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It says to prepare your bias binding, and I'm like, I'll get to it. No, I think I'm going to do it right here where she says to do it. So I've got a square here, and I'm going to take this square, and I am going to go from corner to corner really quickly. Then I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it up like this. And I'm going to leave just a smidge of overhang, about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to sew that right there. Now I've just pressed that open. Now I'm going to cut strips that are as wide as the instructions say. And then we will have some bias binding. So I'm just going to cut this strip here. So 1 strip. And I'm going to cut another strip. And after I finish doing that, I can just sew them together. And voila, I will have bias binding. That is the length that we need for this project. Excess. And I'm going to join all these together, and that's all we need. If you're wondering how I'm going to join them, I am just going to join them edge to edge, like that, doing a little overhang. Now that I've sewn these together, they have some little dog ears on there. I'm just going to clip those off and press the seam open to reduce bulk. And then I will consider my binding prepared. Well, sort of. ByAnnie does not press her binding. She gets great results like that. I don't get great results, but I certainly don't get great results if I don't press my binding. So I'm going to stick to what I know, and I'm going to press it, and then I am going to press it in half and get it together like I would bind a quilt and move on with my life. Now it's time to work with these tabs. And like I told you guys, I'm going to try to hack this, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So we're going to just stick to the basics for a moment. And we're going to put interfacing on all of these little bitty guys here. And I'm just going to iron it down on all of these little pieces. Now that interfacing has been fused to all of these, which is great, we're going to take 2 of them and mark on the right side. Do some quick marking here. Now I am using a friction pen and a chalk pen because I'm always using black and white fabric and you never know what's going to show up on what. So I'm going to mark these on the front first. Now with these tabs, we're going to get a little funky with it. And I'm going to just fold one side in half so that I can see the center there. And I'm going to put an X right there in the center at the top. I'm going to do the same thing here. And just throw an X at the top. Then we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to mark in, and then we're going to do a small marking at the bottom so that we can get some angle tab action going on. So now I have marked these little guys and they look like this. And now I'm going to just put those to the side, and those have been prepared. So now it is strapping time. I totally lost the strap. I was like, where did I feel like I cut it? I did cut it. I did not cut this to the specific size. I'm going to let this be longer. Hopefully I have enough strapping for it because I'm a big gal. So I think longer might behoove me in this situation. If not, I'll just chop it off. But I think we're going to go with the full length of a strip here. So first things first, I grabbed some strapping from Joann's. I just grabbed the pre-cut one because I didn't have any that wasn't decorative and very expensive, i.e. my Tulip Pink 1-inch. There's no way in the world that I would cover that. And most of the time I just use her strapping, which is an option. If you are going to use Tulip Pink's strapping, and it's decorative, no need to cover it with fabric, but for this one I am, which I don't always do, so this should be, you know, fun. I'm going to cut the strapping according to what the directions say. I don't have my lighter up here. I like to light the ends of strapping when I am working with it, but because I'm working with it immediately, I should be fine. If I'm going to have it around and I'm going to be tussling with it, it starts to kind of unwind, and it's just best to give it a little melty. So I've cut my strapping piece down, and now I'm going to take the short strapping piece and I'm going to fold it right sides together, and then I'm going to run over to my sewing machine and just sew it hot dog style down the side. Now we are going to try to center this bad boy. Now I'm going to grab my favorite tool, and I'm just trying to center it down the center and open up that seam. Once I get it nice and centered, I'm going to press that seam open, and I'm going to press it hard. I want that seam to stay right there, so I'm probably going to give it a little spritzy spritz with my spray and try to freeze it centered. Okay. we are going to press this really good. Press, press, press. And give it a minute to cool down for a second. Now it's kind of cooled down. Oh, can you see? It was like stuck to the little ironing board there. I am going to stick this here and fasten it. Then we are going to turn it inside out. So I'm just going to bend this and send it through here and turn this puppy right side out. Give me a second. So I turned that tube with a fast turn because that, I don't know what I was thinking. All right, so I'm going to grab this and we're just going to pull the strapping through one side. We're going to give it a little encouragement here. There we are. And just slide it on through. And we are going to let the fabric hang over the strapping a little bit. Okay, just a touch. And then we're going to tuck it in so that it gives it a finished edge. So I'm just tucking it in like that, nothing special, just tucking it in. And now we have a finished edge in there. And we've got a little bit of overhang. And now I'm going to top stitch this all around. And that should be that. Okay. So on this, I realized that this should be much more overhang. I'm not going to be worried about it. I'm assuming that's for bulk reasons, and if I can get whatever the situation is under the needle, it's fine. If I have to make another one of these, I guess I can. But there's also some marking that you need to do. So from the seamed side, you're going to mark up according to what they say. This is the seam side. My seam is right there. It should be center. It's close to center, but it's not. And then this one here should be right up here on that side, on the seam side. And then we're going to put that to the side. Then we're going to do the same thing for the long strap. And we will go from there. I'm just going to fold it in half. And actually, I'm going to take off the selvages. And then I'm going to fold it in half and get to it. Leaving the extension. This is enough to hang over the amount that it's supposed to. So I'm going to be sure to do that on this side. So I am going to fast turn this tube, and I figured I'd show you guys the way I'm going to do it. It's so funny because I was like, oh, I'm going to keep it longer, so much longer. It's not that much longer. It's not that much longer. It's like 4 inches, if that, than what the pattern actually calls for. So I just put that on that like this. Now I'm going to put this through here. I'm going to pull up just a touch of this fabric, and I'm going to feel for the fabric, and I'm just going to turn a couple times to lock that on the fabric. Where is it? There we go. I'm just going to turn a couple times. It'll poke through, and then I'm going to, when I see that coil come through, I know I've got it. Then I'm just going to pull this fabric through the tube. And this was so much easier than whatever kind of foolishness and nonsense I was just doing a moment ago. You just pull it and it is turned. Great tools to have. This is the fast turn tube system. I see them at local quilt stores. Every now and then I'll catch them at a show. Every now and then. And that's the system. And it goes all the way down to a super itty bitty tiny tube, like 1/8. So you can certainly turn tiny tubes, big tubes. Now I'm going to press this and stick this strapping in like I did the other one, nothing new, and then do a 1/8 top stitch. Now this should be interesting. This is something that I have not done before. I'm going to grab the 2 tabs that just have the parallel lines on the front, and I am going to seam side up, place this, not this side, the raw side, with the strapping hanging over like that, and I'm going to sew a scant quarter straight across. And I'm going to do that with both this one and this guy right here. So you know, this is a little bit, this should be sticking out a little bit more. I'm just going to position that so that it's hanging over where it's supposed to go and call it a day. But this is the ones that just have the parallel lines, and we're just going to sew a scant attaching it to the side. Boy, the seam is hidden so well. There it is though. This is the seam side up. We have sewn this. It should look like this. This is the seam side up. I know mine looks a little crazy. And that fabric is still hanging over, so that looks a little crazy, but whatever. Now we are going to match these up and make a little sandwich. And now I'm going to sew with an accurate 1/4 inch from here to here across. Then I'm going to sew these angled spots right here, but I'm not going to catch the strap. I'm going to be sure that I'm not catching the strap right there. And then I'm going to just sew it on the angled lines, not the straight ones, but the ones that are angling out. We're making our little tabbies. Now that we have these sewn and we've backstitched and whatnot, we're going to cut away about a 1/4 inch. Say about a 1/4 inch from either side. Same on this side. Do not cut into your strapping or anything. All right. Now we are going to flip this inside out. I guess I'm going to have to want it. There we go. I'm going to have to want this sucker. There it is. Okay. Oh, that's nice. So pretty. So I've turned them and they seem like they're a little crooked, but I'm not going to worry about that because one of the things that we're going to do is purposely make them crooked. So I'm just going to give these a little press and then do 1/8 of an inch around them and not even worry about it. And I know some of this is also that the fabric is plaid and it's not parallel and all that. I could have probably stood to do this in a solid, but I wanted it to be a continuous print thing, so maybe I did it just fine. But again, I'm going to press these and then do 1/8 around it and seal it up. These are both right sides up too, And now I'm going to sew around them with 1/8. So these zippers are going to be tight, but we are going to make it work. We're going to do the blue zippers on the front and then the red one on the top. The red one actually could have probably been the shortest, but each of these is like a little over 9 inches. This one's barely over 9, like 9 1/4. And then this one, the stops at like 9 1/2. So I'm going to be fine. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make sure that it's taller than it is wide. These numbers are close, so be careful. And then I'm going to put this way with it closed and sitting to the right. And I'm going to make sure that it overhangs just a little bit, about 1/8. And then I'm going to sew a generous 1/4 inch seam, 1/4 inch generous down the side. And then we will encapsulate it and then we'll go from there. So as you can see, I've got a little bit hanging over. That's important. You want it about 1/8 of an inch, and I've got it right sides together here. I'm probably gonna sew it this way through my machine, but make sure you have a little bit of an overhang there. Now I have sewn this to the pocket, the front of the pocket. And here's the part that I always got tripped up on. Then you flip it backward like this. The object is to get this to cover and stitch it down and hide all of that ugliness inside of that encapsulated area. So I'm going to go back with some top stitching and stitch this down like that. That part used to always trip me up, but that's what we're doing. I think if I were doing this again, I'd prefer to use zippers by the yard and just cut the zippers too, because I am cutting it mighty close. It's pretty. It's pretty, but I am cutting it mighty close with this. And this again was the 30-inch zipper. And I can see where, I mean, I'm okay, but yeah. So I've done these zippers. I've shown you sew it that way and then you just make it flat. And then I sewed it from the back, encasing all of those raw edges. And this is what you get on the front. And I don't always love this because I don't like to top stitch. I really dislike top stitching a lot. But I think it does just make for such a clean zipper installation. All right, let's keep going. So I just grabbed this top pocket and I've marked a line up from the bottom according to its instructions. So it doesn't help that it's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm so annoyed, so annoyed. I looked at the bird's eye view. I watched all the videos. I had no idea that this is how this comes together. So in my vision, this is the smaller pocket, which goes up here, and this is the fabric that will be shown down here. Oh, how she's wrong. Oh, how she's wrong. The way it's going to go together is you put this here. I'm sorry, that's wrong. This is going here. You stitch this down and do all the things, and this folds down, and this is actually how it's going to be seen. I could not be more ticked off. I just couldn't be. And then it's, oh, I almost don't even want to finish it, but I promise you I will not be making 2 more of these, even though I could, but nope, we're just going to keep going. Matter of fact, I'm tempted to just go to bed because I'm so annoyed, but maybe this will be cute. I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel, because I saw this going a whole different way. Oh, all right. It is what it is. Moving on. I am aligning this. This and this. We're just going to hold this in place I just could not be more annoyed. And you guys are like, what's the issue? The issue is the pattern. The way that I envisioned this pattern is not what is happening. But you know what? We're going to let go. We're going to let go. But we're having a hard time letting go. Now I'm getting ready to sew 1/4 of an inch this way and 1/8 of an inch to secure this pocket to this pocket here. Now I'm going to pull these zippers in. Sheesh. And stitch them closed all the way around. I'm going to come down and then that way. So now I'm supposed to trim this overhang, any overhanging zipper that we have here. So I'm just going to do this. And now we have our AB zipper unit. Totally not what I was expecting. So for this, we're going to do the facing. This is the front facing. We are going to grab our interfacing and fusible side down. We're going to try to leave 1/4 inch on all sides. Just about, I'm guesstimating here. And then I'm going to fuse it down. Now with this here, these zippers, and we are going to sew this to this pocket. Now that it's attached on this side, I'm going to flip it over. And we're going to grab the piece we just, oh, here it is. And we're going to put this way. And sew 1/4 inch down the side to attach it. So now that I have pressed this direction and this direction, and same thing over here, I've pressed it going away from the zippers. It's saying to top stitch about scant quarter away from here, and the same on the other side. So 2 lines of top stitching for this. So it's a new day and I'm still mad, but we get what we get. We don't throw a fit, even though we're throwing a fit a little bit. So I left off at the facings both being pulled to this side here. I have ironed them and pressed them going away from the pocket. Now I'm going to sew a seam 1/4 of an inch from this seam, and then I'm going to measure this piece and make sure it measures what it's supposed to according to the directions. Then we will make sure that everything is sealed. I can tell right here that I've got a little bit of an opening, so I've got to seal that back and make sure that everything is nice and clean and tidy, and then we'll go from there. Now all this has been sealed and sewn and all the things, right? So great. Now I've got the main bag body, and I have marked a line that you can't see that's going right across there. I'm going to take this and we're going to flip it upside down, and we are going to put it here just above the edge of that. I've closed the zipper. We need to get that out the way because that's scary. And then I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch down the side there. We have sewn this in place the best we can, and now we are going to sew one more time just to secure it about 1/8. So I tried to do with 1/4 there, and then we're going to do 1/8 so that it's truly secured really well. I'm sure you expected this. We're going to fold this down. We are going to make the edges meet. We're going to close this bad boy up. Then I'm going to pin it and clip it into place. And we are going to sew it down. So I'm going to go all around in this 1/8 and sew this all together to make one piece, which again, I'm sure you already assumed I would be doing. Now the body front is all sealed up. It looks cool. I started here, came down, went here, went there. Nice and simple. Now it's time to shape this. So this is on the body front. And I am about to mark some lines. So the first line is going to be about here. And then we're going to mark one coming into here, and then we're going to draw a diagonal line, which is funny because all that over there is going away. Do not be at all attached to anything happening on this bad boy, because you get what you get and you do not throw a fit. I'm so ticked off about this. Anyway, moving on. These are supposed to be flipped, but whatever. We're moving on from it. Now, I marked my line right here, and then I marked my line right here. Make sure you are paying attention to which size bag you're making, because I almost marked my bag over here, and that would have been incorrect. I am making the standard size, so it's a deeper cut. More of this will go away. But make sure you are paying attention to that, because that almost got away from me. Now we've had to mark a little mark here and right there. And then we've had to do a little mark down here. And we're going to connect these two together, which is a weird, it's weird. It's a weird one. It's just a little kiss of an angle. And again, I am using 2 marking pins because some of this will show up on one and some of it will not show up on the other. So, yeah, there's that. I can see that line there. Hopefully you can too, because it's a weird one. And then there's another little guy right here that we marked. And now we have that marked. So we've got super long line there, one right here, and one right there marked. I am really loving the color of these zippers on this, even though I'm not going to talk about it. I guess this is the fun part. We've got our big 6.5-inch creative grid circular, or just get a circular object or use the template that comes with it. You do not have to have these. I have it because one, I like to have all the things, but I use my set of circular rulers a lot. I think I'm going to make my own set with the non-slip coating on the back, because I just think that circular rulers, I use them a lot. So I'm going to push this all the way up into this corner right here until I feel it meet, and then I'm going to mark. I am marking away. Hopefully that is going to show up. I think it will. All right, I can see that. Then this line that comes out here, I'm just going to push this till it touches that line, but also hangs off the side here just a little bit. And then I'm going to mark this. This is a short curve here. And I'm stopping when it hits this line. So, all right, I can see it. So it's just got a little curve there. And now I'm pretty sure I'm going to stitch this whole thing 1/8 on the inside of this. Inside, 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 just 1/8 on the inside. Come hit here, come back the inside, and then the inside of that line. And I should be golden. I should be good. I guess I should start here. So I'll start here, stitch on the inside, 1/8, cut in. I could go over this again. It's not going to hurt anything. Stitch on the inside, stay in this 1/8 corner here, and then jump out and stay on the inside 1/8 all the way back up. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Now everything has been sewn. I am going to now cut on the line, not the sewn line, but the other line. And then we are going to shape the back the same way that we did the front. And that'll be that. I can't wait to see where this is going to end, because we're working from, oh, I guess I'll know because I've got a lovely outline here, but I'm very curious to see how this all works out, because it will be like this. We'll see. So I'm cutting away, right, and I'm shaping, and I started over here. I took this off, then this, then this. I'm getting ready to do this, and I figured I better show y'all how I'm going to do it. I am going to line up with the original lines and cut with courage. Sheesh. Then after I do that, I'm going to place this on here and round that. And that's how we get this. It's not so bad. It's actually cute. The reason why I didn't want these two touching is because of the lining up the patterns. Even though I was okay with this touching down here, you know what? I know I keep saying I'm not going to talk about it, but whatever. I'm going to mark this guy and do the same thing and see what we get. Oh, we're going to lose so much of that hat. Oh, that makes me sad. Oh, well, moving on. In the instructions, Annie talks about how, wow, that's just wrong. Annie talks about how if you are right-handed, this is made for you. If you're left-handed, you would want a mirror. This would be the time that I think that you would want to mirror your stuff. And it would be a really easy mirror to do. This does not seem to be, you know, that rocket science kind of like, oh my goodness, it's not a whole bunch of things that you're going to need to remember, even though I just did that just as wrong as it could be. But putting this on this side and this on this side seems like it wouldn't be too difficult to do. The way that the zippers open, now that might be a challenge. I don't know. And she always says, well, do one the right way first, or the way that it was designed first, and then you'll know what to do. That's a lot. So I'm hoping that by watching this video, you can get the gist of what we're supposed to be doing here. And that is my hope, that this video will be helpful to someone in some way. All right, I hate it less. Oh, okay. Let me stitch and 1/8 in. And remember, I'm working on the mirror side, because this is the side that we want to show. Can't wait to see what shows after I cut that away. It's like a reveal. We'll do that together. Okay, I have not turned it over. I have just finished cutting it. We're going to make sure that it looks, you know, similar, like it's supposed to. It feels good, feels good, feels good. Okay, she measured properly. Oh, it's cute. You still get the word Grinch. Sort of. Yes, this H is going to get cut off quite a bit, but I think we will know what it's supposed to say, right? I think we'll be okay. This is pretty cool. I'm happy with it. I get a lot of his face. We will jewel this up and all that, and these over here. It'll be cool. It'll be fine. This will be fine too. It'll be okay. I'm glad that this is done though. Now that I have all this done, I'm going to measure this in and see how long it is. And it is exactly what it's supposed to be, oddly enough. I don't know how that happened. But the zipper needs to be 1 inch shorter. So I'm going to clean that up. And I think I can get just, I have just enough to get this zipper correct. And I'm trying to make sure that it is free from any, you know, any frills or loose threads. We want this straight. And clean. This has a stop on it. I'm going to pull this zipper back. And I'm going to cut it right in front of that, behind that stop. Okay. Now I'm going to take these two tabs and I'm going to fuse them onto this here. So take the tabs and align them with the bottom and try to have about 1/4 of an inch on either side, give or take. Make sure the glue side is down. Perfect. Then I'm going to fuse that. Now that these have cooled just a bit, I'm just going to put a couple of dabs of Elmer's glue on here just to keep them not flipping. I'm only putting it at the top of the interfacing, and I'm just doing a little bit, just a smidge, because I'm getting ready to turn this over and I really don't want it to come undone. Not that it will if you don't, it's just really don't want that to come undone. The object of the game is to fold this over about 1/4 of an inch in. And then I'm going to give it a press and hold it in place. So I sewed mine together. You don't have to, but I did. And I'm going to put the seam again on the bottom. And we're just going to slide this in and do the exact same thing on this side, except we're making sure that we line up the raw edges. There we go. That's better. Get it in there, then smooth it out. That's fine. And I did sew mine together. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just helping me get this in nicely. Now I'm going to sew it 1/4 and sew it 1/8, just like I did on the other side. This is what these look like. So 2 lines of stitching, I back stitched, well, on the other one I did. Now we're getting ready to turn this. This is where the finished edge is. And so we are just going to flip this out, being careful to keep that tucked in, which is why I just gave it a touch of glue, because I do not want it coming undone. There we go. And now we have cutie patootie zipper tabs. And they do extend just a little bit past the zipper. Okay. There we go. That's cute. And now we just close that up, cut any of those flyaways, and we are cooking with gas. So now it's time to attach our cutie patootie zipper. So I actually did a stay stitch 1/8 on the ends here just to keep them together, and I kind of got it, but you know, you get what you get. All right, so for here, you're going to put your zipper on the left and close it up. Then we are going to align this bad boy right here, and we are going to sew like we did before. We're going to attach it with a 1/4 inch seam, a generous one. Just make sure that it's overhanging just a little bit. Just a little bit, just a touch. We're going to pin it and clip it into place, and then we're going to sew it down. So in theory, had I done this correctly and gotten this zipper correct, these would be a 1/4 inch in from each side. I am not going to stress over it. We are just going to let go and be okay with what happens. I'm going to put this in just a touch there. This side is fine. Again, if I can get it under the needle, but I think I did not do a large enough seam allowance here. So, you know, we'll see what happens, because we are not going back. We are not. This is the fun of making a bag with me, right? Is the insanity that we encounter. Most of it self-inflicted. All right, I'm going to look here and just make sure that we've got some overhang, which we do. And make sure there's no zippers and stuff in the way. And there's not. We're just going to unzip this a little bit for funsies. All right. And we will stitch it down. The zipper has now been sewn on. We've got a little overhang here. We've got less back here, but I think we'll be fine. I'm going to push this down, you know how we do, and then try to sew and enclose all those raw edges and whatnot and try to make it clean. And it will again produce a line of top stitching. So I got that on there, and I don't love how the top stitching came out on that one, but it's on there. It's smooth, but it's not my favorite. But it is what it is. We've gotten it done what we can get done. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I just want to be sure that it's lined up the best I can get it, and it looks like it will be fine. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. We are just going to sew this on here with a generous 1/4 inch and then flip it over and top stitch, and then this side will be on also. So you see, this is the back. So it would have been like this, and then I am just flipping it over so that I see it like that. Then we are going to bring the right sides together, and I'm going to line them up like this and then sew it down. Now we've got both sides and our zipper tabs attached, and yeah, that's much better. That is better. Still not perfect, but you know what? We're going to get what we get, and we're not going to throw a fit. And now, I imagine now it will be time to close her up, get her done. I feel like, yes, that's next. Let's cut some of these strings. That's driving me insane, that little thing there. Is my iron on? It's probably not warm enough to get rid of it. It is not. Oh, just doing it a little bit. Friction. Okay. It is time to attach the straps to this. So, fabric side up, and on the left, we're going to grab our short strap, and with the seam side up, which is this side right here, this goes to the top. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Not this being as simple as jumping in that ditch and doing 1/8 of an inch about 3, maybe 4 times. Ooh, there are a lot of little strings here. And then that's it. And then do the same thing with the other side, seam side up. So again, with the seam side facing up, we're going to do that about 4 times. And actually this one, the unseamed side goes up. And then we're going to sit this in here, and we're going to do that about 4 times too. So that one's seam signed up. This one is unseamed, smooth side up. So I keep talking about hacking this strap, but I just don't know what I'm doing. So we are going to just simply fold this up right now out of the way. And we're gonna take this and get this out of the way too. And we're gonna clip it all together so it is out of the way. And then we are going to, I'm assuming it only gets closed up there, so I think we're fine. I want to put a pin in this, but I'm the queen of ouch, got myself. So I hate to pin through the front of my bag, but okay. All right, that's pinned out of the way, I guess. It's not very flat, but we can work with it. Okay. Next step, I matched up the bag the best I could, and now I'm getting ready to just sew the bag together. I've left a hole for me to turn the bag. The zipper is undone. Nothing is going on yet. I'm just closing up the bag. Nothing special is happening. I'm just going to feel along the seams to make sure there's no zippers in the way. Is that a zipper? That feels like a zipper. No, that's not a zipper. That is the zipper. All right, everything is fine. I'm going to close it up. I'm going to start here, and then I'm just going to sew a 1/4 of an inch, a scant quarter, all the way around. I remember when I was first buying a straight stitch machine, I was concerned, will it be able to handle, yada, yada, yada. I had more difficulty just trying to hold the bag myself than I did it getting through these layers. It went through swift, not a problem. I didn't even really have to bat an eye. Now it is time to bind it. And my concern for binding is I really don't want to add any bulk, because as much crap as I talk about how strong this machine is, it is a lot of bulk. Now Annie suggests hammering it. I did not do any hammering because I want to go get a hammer. So we'll see if I regret that step. I have gone through with a scant. I have now set it up to do a 1/4 of an inch, a full 1/4. And I really don't want to hit any seams. So I'm going to just make sure that I'm not hitting any seams where you start and where you end. And I'm going to do that just by measuring. And it looks like we should be good if I start right here. So I can feel the seam there, and I'm going to start after the seam and just start binding. Now I have sewn on the binding. Oh, I had a little bit coming apart right there. I don't love that, but it's captured, so I guess it'll be fine. This is where Annie got to hammering again. And I did not hammer, so we shall see. I'm going to cut away about an inch worth of binding right here. I'm going to just cut away about that much. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to just do some tucking. So I'm going to pull this over and see what we got here. part is sticking out a little more than I want it to, but oh, there we go. I'm just going to, and this is just to give you a finished edge on the inside. Nobody is going to see this. Nobody should be really seeing this. And it is tight on these curves, so you can cut away to reduce some of that bulk. You can hammer, you can do whatever you need to do to get it to behave. This is stretchy enough that I know that I can pull this over with my stiletto and get it all in there. Now when I get to this edge over here, I am going to fold it down, and then fold it over so that there's no raw, and capture all this in here. That's the plan. That is my plan. I might cut away a little bit more of this. Again, I'm going to fold it down. And capture that. And then fold it in. That's the plan. All right, let's see how it goes. So I have just finished binding this and it came out okay. All the raw edges are indeed tucked in. I have these little, I never show you guys after I get rid of the little guys here, but it is not perfect by a long shot, but they are enclosed. It is extremely tight. If you don't want a hammer and you have some machines that can handle it, I suggest really just doing a zigzag. I should have done a zigzag around everything after I put the binding on. I think that would have been helpful. Now it's time for me to turn this puppy inside out and put the hardware on. We are going to carefully open this up and find that pin and remove that first because, again, I am the girl who always says, ow. Always an owie. We have our ByAnnie pieces here that, of course, are not open. That would be too much like right. Where is the... Now, I have this new ByAnnie hardware. I was dying to get this. I saw and got a chance to play with it, and it's actual metal. It's metal, and it's not metal plated, it's metal, and it just releases so smooth and goes back in so smooth. I just had to play with this, which is possibly how we ended up with this whole project. But we've got this, we've got the male and the female part, and then we have the 1-inch slider. I've reached in, I've taken the pin out already. I'm going to take out these clips and we're going to turn this bag. I don't know why I'm taking out the clips. We're going to turn this bag. Ooh, it needs a little steam because that baby is stiff. Okay, I'm going to turn this. I'll be back. It's time to put these buckle pieces on. I have them arranged as such. We're just going to take this. This is the seam side up. This is the back of the bag. I'm just going to take this and slide this in like that, or like so, as people say. And then I'm going to pull it over to meet this. And then I'm going to just sew all around and an X in that box. And that will be all done for that side. I have now sewn this onto this, and it's gorgeous. Now with the seam side up, I'm going to go up and over this wide mouth slider. The curved side is up. I'm going to go up and back down. Nothing special there. So with the seamed side up, we're going to go down through this hole and then back up through this one. The corrugated side is up. That's just the side with the lines. And we'll do that. And I imagine we will go back up through here and down through there. And that will be to keep this buckle, this strap from, you know, moving all around. Which was why I thought I needed to hack it the way that the other one is, but you don't. This is sufficient. This is fine. It goes right into this. And there you have it. It's fine. And there we have our finished side hustle bag. It's cute. It is cute.